Could have made it 7 years even for me, Joe, but I don't know. He's got some really exciting plans coming up, and so we're very excited for Joe and his upcoming retirement. I met Joe back when he was in Minnetonka. Joe started in the school district, in the Wayzata School District, in May of '94, correct? That's what the payroll record said. So he started in May of '94. Prior to that, he was in Minnetonka. But I have to tell you that there were a handful of us who were aspiring business managers, and we would all go to Minnetonka and basically sit around and listen to Tom Berge and Joe Matson and several other people, and they were our mentors. And I am so tickled that I had the opportunity to actually be a colleague with Joe Matson here. So anyway, as you know, Joe's retiring. I was going to make some remarks, but I think the biggest remark I'd like to make is I think Joe's just such a special guy. He really gets what the educational organization is all about, what Wayzata Schools is about. I can't tell you how many times we'd be talking about construction projects or work that needed to be done, and he always brought it back to the kids, to the student learning, to the staff, to the teachers, and really what we're all about. So that's such a special quality of Joe, and I'm so appreciative of that, and I know that many of you have seen that. Joe also, operational excellence all the way, but the other thing is relationships. He always had incredibly good relationships, not only with the staff that worked directly with him, but the staff throughout the district, and most recently, over the last couple of years, even our professional service providers, architects, as you'll see, because they even have a gift for him, and I had to inspect the gift, because there's a gift law, and they can't give him anything that exceeds $5, and it has to come from me.
So the asset tag is $4.99.
Well, you might be surprised when you see that, but anyway, I'm going to stop making my remarks. Joe's got some family members here. Joe, I might let you introduce them, and they can stand up and wave, and then we'll continue on with our honoring Joe today. So, thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Jim, for the kind words. I'd like to introduce my wife, Amy. Daughter Katie with the phone. Daughter Laura. Sister Wendy. There she is. And I have a third daughter, Kelly, who's working, lives up in Hibbing. So she couldn't be here today. At one point, we had 3 teenage girls in our house at one point, and I'd start grumbling, saying something, and Amy'd always say, "You're a lucky man." And I am truly lucky. On this little board, we put up a thing that's up in the upper right here. It says, "The right teammates can change the way the game is played," and I always have that on my bulletin board in my office. And then right below it is a picture of our crew. And with the right teammates, I think we did change the way the game is played. So I appreciate working with everybody. It's been my pleasure. My pleasure.
Our pleasure too.
And thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
But I'm truly a lucky man. So thank you.
I'm not going to say too much, but this is from the staff at Central Services. They wanted you to have it. Woody said he'll put it in your vehicle for you if you want it.
I think he said he put it in his vehicle.
Maybe I misheard him. So I'll say I've had 2.5 years to work with Joe. Joe's an amazing person, amazing mentor. I don't think I'd be where I was. I don't think I'd feel as comfortable as I am, even though I'm not comfortable at all. But the fact of the matter is that he has really set everything up to succeed, and that's something that I'm thankful for. I'm not one that can tell you stories about Joe simply because he was sunsetting on his career when I met him, so I didn't know the wild Joe. I didn't know that. But I will say thank you, and I appreciate it from me personally.
Thank you, John. And thanks for the router. Thank you, everybody.
So, I got to say a few words too. I met Joe back in November of '87. For those of you that are familiar with federal regulations, that's when asbestos came into the world. And as I was working for a consulting firm, I come to find out that the inspector for Minnetonka school districts had claustrophobia. So he never went into pipe chases, he never went into pipe tunnels. So out of the blue on our quality control program, I had to call Minnetonka schools and let them know that I was going to quadruple or go tenfold the amount of asbestos they had in their district because of an inspector. So it wasn't good news to relay over the phone, but when I got there and I started talking with Joe and Gene George, and Mike Conlon was in on it, and we kind of got to the point where we were saying, okay, let's do it. Let's make this right. Let's do it the right way. And that kind of started us off on a long journey that we're here today for. And within that, there was a number of processes that I learned, and one of the questions that I remember Joe asking me was, down at your office building, that 1929 Excelsior building, it was, oh God, Raj, you think there's any asbestos in this wall? I said, do you want to find out? He said, yeah. So I reached down in my Spectre bag and grabbed a hammer and beat a hole in the wall. I said, yep.
What did you just do?
So it's kind of been that way ever since. We kind of worked through issues, and it's been a great time. Then we moved on to the time when my boss here, after I started here, they were hiring out for Joe Matson. The superintendent at that time, David Landsberg, asked me to give tours to all of the candidates. So at 9 o'clock, I heard 8:55, I pick up the first candidate, and 9:55, and subsequently through the day, I kept picking up these people and driving them around the district, explaining the 145-year history of the district, and kind of get bored with it all, you know, same story. And I remember driving up to the admin building, and there's Joe standing outside. The last interview, and beautiful day like this, and I had, all right, somebody I know. Get in my car. And over the course of that, I remember saying, God, we could be a great team. We could do great things. Come on over. And sure enough, he accepted the position as it was worked out, and it's been a great ride ever since. You can't have all that professional work go on without a little bit of personal time, and Joe and I did a little bit of ice fishing. And unfortunately, Kelly's not here to substantiate this, but we were heading up to his mom and dad's place, and Kelly was in the back going to go visit Grandma, remember? And we're on Highway 53. We're about 3 hours, another hour and a half to go, and I remember Kelly saying, Dad, I want something to do. And I remember you, as the dad, saying, well, just count motorcycles.
We're going ice fishing.
Exactly. So me, being a new dad in the co-pilot seat, I'm thinking, well, if that's how you parent, I can do that. And it works. We've got great kids on both of our families. I really appreciated that little lesson. And subsequently, having spent so much time with Joe doing long-range planning, short-range planning, taking care of mold, taking care of water intrusions, taking care of just issues, and that's what I'm going to continue to call it. It has been really a joyous experience for me to grow and learn professionally from a guy I truly appreciate. Everything.
Thanks, sir. Again, with great teammates, you can
Thank
do
you all for
anything.
being here.
So,